Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, November 2nd. It is 6:21 right now. Market's in open in about 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a couple of things here to update and we should be good to go. It's here. Looks good. Looks good. Looks like we are good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Looks like we are good to go. All right, I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in, and we'll get started shortly. Cool. So I'll bring this up to the group in a little bit. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. Today's Thursday, November 2nd. It is 6:23 right now. Market's going to open in about 6 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here on the daily time frame, and then we'll go from there. Andrew just messaged me something interesting. I'll bring it up once everybody's in the room. It looks like FTMO is supporting another platform. Going down to the 8-hour time frame. Now the 4-hour. Now the 2-hour. One hour. $30-minute. Looks like all liquidity that we've been marking up, pretty much all we got hit overnight, or this morning at least. Yeah, big, huge bullish push to the upside. I think it was probably based off the news that happened this morning. There's high impact news pre-market. $10-minute time frame. And it looks like we are good to go. All right, guys. Looks like about half you guys are here so far. So good morning, everybody. Today's Thursday, November 2nd. It is 6:26 right now. Market's going to open in about 4 minutes. Closest level of liquidity above right here that I marked up is at 33,593. This is it's one of the lower level liquidities, but Nonetheless, liquidity right there. Lower level down here is going to be at 33,429. So if you guys want to have this on your own chart, it's not really difficult. Just turn on your high-low indicator and then mark up the untested high-lows. So there goes the two high liquidities that are nearest current price. Going over here to our main chart, let me see. We had news at 5:30, I believe. News at 4:30, 5:30, 7:30. Okay, 4:30, 5:30, 7:30. So 5:30 was right here, this big candle. 4:30, it's right there. We got news at 7 and 7:30. And I think that might be it. All right. So yeah, news over at 7:30. It's low impact news. All the high impact news already passed for this morning. It was pretty much mixed this morning. At 4:30, there was positive news. 5:30 was positive news. Everything else was negative. So we'll see what happens when the market opens here shortly. Let's see what's here so far. Morning, Kevin. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Kit. Morning, Andreas. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Patricia. Morning, Maria. Morning, Daniel. Morning, everybody. All right, guys. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, the market breaks out of the range today. You know, as we discussed, it's a weird market right now, guys, for the fall season. We've been pretty much stuck in this range for a couple weeks now. The market does move pre-market and then it moves slightly after, but for the most part, price just continues to range throughout New York session, which is very unusual for the fall season. This is NFP week, so obviously you're going to see some like unusual price movements. But I mean, we'll see what happens here when the market opens in the next 2 minutes. So we got the market opening here. We'll see if market continues to climb up. It was climbing up earlier and then, you know, it came back down slightly right here. But we'll see what happens here on open. I think wherever price pushes, it's probably going to push in that direction for, I wouldn't say a long period of time, but I think it'll follow in that direction because we're going to have some volatility following, you know, whatever direction news pushes price. The news was technically negative and price actually pushed up very high. So news was negative over here at 5:30 and it climbed up super high. And then it pulled right back right here. And then we'll see if it continues to climb up on open or if it, you know, comes back down for retracement correction. Because the correction is going to be this pink line right here. If it comes back down to this point, this is going to be the correction point, the pink line. If price climbs back up, it's just going to be a continuation of the direction from pre-market. We got market opening in about 30 seconds. You know, we'll see what happens here when the market opens, and then we'll go from there. Spread right now is currently 190, so it's a little high. Volatility is also very low, so we'll we'll see where this takes us. Looks like it's probably going to be bullish. We'll see. All right, so here goes the opening candle, guys. Or bearish, and then we'll see. Crazy candles right here. That's really hard to tell where price is going to try to go right here. So opening candle is right here, 6:30. Mark that up right there. Let's see if I get this. Go over to our plain chart, mark this up as well. We'll see if it continues pushing up from here. So let me go back to our main chart over here. We currently have a buy signal. So if we get 2 green candles here, we're going to be getting breakout V2. So that's the first entry that might be setting up here. So we currently have a buy signal. If we get 2 green candles, this is the first one. If we get a second one, that's going to be the breakout V2. And then I mean, I'm probably not going to take it, obviously. The movement right now is is it's really uncertain, because I was hoping that it would have like immediate push, like we had a big news event over here at 5:30. I was like hoping, okay, right here at 6:30, we're either going to get a big push and it just keeps, pushing up and climbing higher, or if it continues to correct back down, it'll go down really quick. But looking at current price right here, it's a little uncertain. It didn't really push up as hard as I would have wanted it to. Not to say that it's not going to push up higher, but it's pretty slow right now compared to what I was expecting. It is NFP week, so I was expecting like some type of bump to happen, but it's the type of market we're in right now. We're in a ranging market, which is also unusual for the fall season. So we have a breakout V2 running right here, or it's going to be running right now. There goes a breakout V2, guys. I'll follow it. I'm not going to enter the position, but I'll follow it for you guys, and then we'll, obviously see where it goes. But yeah, that's the breakout V2 currently running right now. We're going to add this to our spreadsheet once it plays through, and then we'll determine where we'll go from there. So there goes a breakout V2. It's pushing up. It's just a little bit of a tricky move because of how price is moving here. It looks like we're starting to get some of that volatility. It's not very strong. You guys can see it's not really holding very well, but it is pushing. Generally, this would have just blasted right through, right? I mean, it did blast through, but not all the way through. If you guys want to pull out for partial profit, feel free. If you want to move your stop loss in profit, you can do that as well. As I mentioned, it's really hard to tell where the price is going to go right now. There you go, full TP. So blast right through there for the breakout V2. If you guys took it, nice work. If you guys didn't, it's completely fine. I did not take the trade, so it's not going to count as an official trade, but it is going to count in our spreadsheet as a win for the breakout V2. So if you guys took the trade there, nice work. If not, again, just wait for the official entries to, obviously present themselves. So today is November 2nd. Came up at 631 or 32 actually. It's for a buy, is a win, 250. Impact news, pre-market, slow push, but eventual full TP blast. All right, so there goes the first breakout V2 win for this week so far. I mean, this week's been kind of you guys have seen it's been kind of choppy, so it's kind of hard to really identify these, but it looks like that got hit. Also, Rashid over here mentioned that liquidity got hit as well. So depending on what you guys wanted to take, there's two entries here that I marked up for you guys. Liquidity right there at the 33,593. There goes first level liquidity, and then also over here with the breakout V2. So two full TPs right here for two different strategies that we apply here on the live session. Not official strategies, but strategies that people typically take here on these live sessions. So breakout V2, full TP. I'll take this off the chart. We already hit that. And then liquidity over here, full TP as well. The next level of liquidity is going to be, and if you guys want to see these levels, just make sure that you get on these live sessions early enough, because I mark these up every day before we get on the live. So if you want to get these levels and you don't have the indicators, just make sure to be on this live immediately at 6:20. I'm on this live already by 6:20. So, this is going to be marked up for you every single morning, fresh. I'm going to clean the chart, mark it up fresh. And again, there's no other levels of liquidity coming up anytime soon. Yeah, I don't see any levels here. Closest level is pretty far out. It's about 3,000 pips away, 4,000 pips away. It's pretty far out. So we're probably not going to get any more liquidity up top. And we'll just, we'll see where this goes. All right, so there might be a momentum pullback scalp entry setting up right here, guys, but price is very overextended. So you might want to think twice about taking the entry here. I will mark it up for you guys. Again, I'm not going to take this entry here. It is, now that I look at it, it's very overextended. So from this low right here up to this point, the volatility, and on top of that, the volatility is too low. So the ATR right here is currently 15. It just got to 15, so it's not consistently above that point. So I don't think this here will fit criteria. You might have to wait a little bit for volatility to pick up. And then again, right here, there's no entry because there's no red candle. So for the momentum pullback scalp, we're looking for the red candle over here to basically provide the confirmation of retracement. Once we have that retracement, you could enter at the next lowest level, which is going to be right here at 33,630. So if you guys want to enter that right there, that's going to be the entry point for the momentum pullback scalp. However, the volatility right here is not very high, so I'm probably going to hold off on it because the last thing I want to do is get stuck in this position and not be able to get out if it ends up ranging from where it's currently at. Looks like it might range or consolidate. There's not really a consensus as to like the direction of price right now. As you can see, it pushes up and then it starts to lose some of its power once it gets to a certain point. A lot of big wicks on both of these candles right here. So again, I'll mark this up for you guys, but I'm not planning on taking it, at least not yet. I'm going to wait for the market to stabilize a little bit more. So if this closes red and it's above this line right here, the entry is going to be right here at 33,630. So it didn't fill yet. It's still currently pending. And we'll see, what happens here. Kip over here mentioned pre-market retail sentiment for the week had 20% increase in short positions. That explains the push up, even though we had news that was bad. Yeah, I agree too, Kip. News was bad this morning. It was all negative and price has been climbing since then. So we'll see. We'll keep following and we'll see what happens here. But there's no entry here yet for the momentum pullback scalp, guys. As you guys can see, price, we had the red candle, but it did not pull back down to fill the entry just yet. If that becomes the case, that's completely fine. It just gets to carry on a little bit longer. But at this point, the price is definitely overextended, as you guys can see. It's for sure not a good area to be taking anything, because you can see right here, it is it's overextended. So if you guys want to take it, it's fine, right? I'll mark up these entries for you guys, but I'm going to warn you guys that it's risky, and I'm warning you guys that I'm not taking the trade. So it's really up to you guys whether you want to take it or not. You're your own trader, so I'll give you guys the tools here. I'll give you guys the setups, but if I'm telling you it's risky, it's probably risky. So there's no entry there, guys. We're going to have to go ahead and wait for the next one to come up. As you can see, we had a red candle right here. Price never pulled back down to this level for entry. So now the setup just resets. Currently have a bullish momentum here, bullish trend. We have price pushing up. We need price to push up, retrace down, provide entry at the next level, which we don't have right now just yet. There's no high-low scalp V2s here, as you guys can see. There's a higher high that's currently pending right here. The thing that you want to be careful for with this higher high is that this higher high might establish a ceiling, right? Because typically when you hit a higher high like that, just like it happened right here, it establishes a ceiling and then it comes back down for retracement. So just be careful if you guys are looking to take any opportunities for at this area here. You have to wait for it to establish. If it establishes, then I definitely would be careful and not taking more entries. But if price continues to climb up and it just keeps establishing new higher highs, then that's completely fine. But eventually it's going to establish a ceiling and a resistance. And from that point, it's probably going to bounce back down a little further. Let me go over here real quick. So I'm going to continue on with marking up our opening price pretty much every day. And I'm going to keep this up because I think this is going to be interesting when price finally makes its turnaround. I think eventually it's going to have to turn around. It's not going to keep climbing forever. So we got Thursday open price here, Monday open price, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's been in a constant climb each day. A lot of consolidation, but constant climb overall. It's just having a small recovery. I think it's having a recovery from last month. For the past 3 months, if you guys have been following the Dow 30 and S&P, it's been pretty much negative in a correction for the past 3 months. So past 3 months over here, if you look at the data, it has been bearish, right? So if you look over here from September all the way from July. So from July up until November, we've been pretty far down, right? So right here in November, we might be getting a small correction before it comes right back down, right? There's no reason for US30 and S&P to be going up. There's so much stuff going on in the world right now that there's just no reason for it to go up. It needs to continue dropping. We have high inflation, we have high interest rates. There's a war in the Middle East. We're going into a brand new election season. There's just no reason for price to go up. So I'm going to keep marking these up so that you guys can see these levels. And then at some point, I mean, if you want to take a pretty big move and just ride this thing back down to these levels here, you can, right? I'm always looking for different ways for you guys to be profitable in the market, whether it's scalping with me or even swing trading, taking these bigger moves here. So we'll come back to that later. Anyway, there's no entry here for us at the moment. So I'm not sure if this would have filled, but regardless of the fact, we didn't catch anything here for a momentum pullback scalp. You can see the retracement is now finally happening, which is typically what we were waiting for anyways. So we'll see where this is going. Yeah, Daniel said there's a high-low momentum scalp that is currently pending right now. So we'll see this here if this ends up coming down further from where it's at. It's kind of a big candle though, huh? Sort of big candle right there. Let me see. Yeah, there's a high-low momentum scalp here. If you guys are following that strategy, this strategy is typically used during a ranging market. It looks like it established a ceiling right there, or a resistance, whatever you guys want to call it or consider it. Then we'll see. I mean, the candle is kind of big compared to like the other candles, but I mean, it might be the start of a continuation or a correction at least to the downside. I'm not in this position here, but we'll see where it goes in the next few moments. So there's no official entries yet, guys. We're still waiting. We have this new higher high here that's been established. This higher high here. All right, looks like it hit TP, or almost. Yeah, full TP right there. So if anybody took the high-low momentum scalp, hit pretty nice. I mean, every strategy we've been covering right here for this morning is hit. Breakout V2 hit, high-low momentum scalp hit, liquidity hit. Looks like it came back to retest the liquidity area right here. Damn, that's a big dump. See that candle right there, Dave? That thing's just came crashing through. This is why I'm waiting for the market to stabilize, because you guys can see there's no direction here. Realistically, if you look at this closer, it's just in a big range. So here is the upper range right there, and here it goes price back to opening right here. So price pretty much came up. It did exactly what I mentioned. So if you guys remember earlier, I said look out for that higher high. If the higher high establishes, it's going to correct back down, right? And what happened here? It did exactly that. If you guys watch for that higher high, so you can look for that, and price is probably going to come right back down to open, or one of the other prices that we marked up, or even news price, right? News price is probably, yeah, so first target right here was already hit, opening price. Price corrected back down to opening price. The next target price point is going to be opening price down, or the news price. So they already hit opening price, and it's correcting all the way back down to the news price right here. If you guys remember, the news at 5:30 was negative. There's no reason for price to really push up like it did right there. It was all negative right here. This is all high impact, right? So it's going to correct at some point, and you can see right here, it's going exactly to where I just marked it up. Yep, there you go. Right back to, so this is why I like looking at news sometimes. I don't trade news, but I like looking at news, because if you look for that high point to be established, you know, after market open right here, I wouldn't count any of this because it's pre-market. Well, market open right here at 6:30, climbed up, and then it corrected all the way back down, and look where it's bouncing off. Bounced directly off the news price right there at 5:30. So big dump to the downside, just a nice correction back down. There shouldn't be really a surprise there, because we had structure drawn at that point, because we knew that's where pricing needed to go, right? And that's one thing that you guys have to remember when you guys are looking at these entries here. Price is random at sometimes. I think price is random how it moves, but I think the target price points are not random. Typically, price will reach these price points that we've pretty much marked up, as long as it makes sense. If there's logic behind the move, then odds of it coming down like that are very likely. So anyways, we have the range now currently established. This is a range right here. So there goes our range. Huge, huge range for today. You guys can see price pushed up, established a ceiling, came back down, established a floor, and here we go with this huge range between this area. It seems like the range keeps getting bigger and bigger as the day progresses throughout this week. So we'll, obviously we'll see where this ends up going over the next couple minutes or so. Rashida said I was trying to take it back to news, but she moved too slow. Yeah, guys. So some people here, like Rashida, Daniel, Kip, a lot of you guys here, you guys have been with me for a while. So a lot of you guys can just take trades based off my analysis, even though there's no strategy there. Typically, I will show you guys, where price is pretty much going for the most part. Randy's asking if we covered bias yet. Not yet, so we'll do it right now. Let's see. So today's, I'm pretty sure there's not going to be a bias, but that's why I don't really look at it. Whenever I see the market moving like opposite of news, I usually don't mark up overall bias because I wait for the correction to write it up. So we'll see retail sentiment, fundamental bias, short-term technicals, long-term technicals. Let's take a look at retail sentiment first. So we got retail sentiment over here. It is currently 53% long, so it's pretty much neutral. This indicates that 53% of retail traders are currently buying and 47% of retail traders are currently selling. So with that said, it's straight neutral right now. So just neutral, 53% long. Looking at the fundamental bias, let's refresh CNBC real quick. CNBC is currently 200 points in the green, so it's currently bullish right now. Bullish plus 200 points. Short-term technicals over here. It's a bullish neutral for short-term. You can see price is below here on the 1 minute, but it's kind of in between. 5 minute over here is price is in between as well, and the 10 minute here is above. So we'll put bullish for short-term. And lastly, over here on the higher time frame, it's also bullish. So it's pretty mixed right now. I mean, I guess you could say it's bullish, but that's only because price was climbing so heavily pre-market. But yeah, retail sentiment is pretty much neutral. So fundamental bias is bullish. That's because we had this big push pre-market from like 5:30 up until now. Price just hasn't corrected back down yet. So I guess you can say it's bullish right now with regard to overall bias, but I'd be a little careful because there can be a possible shift here because there's another news event down here as well, as you guys can see, that hasn't been retested yet. And price might even come back down to that point down there. So I think one thing to look out for will be where price sits with regard to opening price. If price stays above, it might continue to climb back up and fall within the overall bias right now currently. If price pulls back below the opening price and stays below this area, then there's going to be a shift in bias, of course, right? But you can see where price is sitting. It's sitting nearby the opening price right here. So you want to be a little careful with any types of entries that you guys are taking because you might get caught in some fake outs. You guys got to remember that it's NFP week. NFP week is not a week to really mess around in. I've seen a lot of people make money during NFP week, and I've seen a lot of people lose money during NFP week. It's not your typical week to really take risky trades because a lot of fake outs happen. It's like Trap Tuesday every single day this week. Trap Thursday today. We don't really call it Trap Thursday, but with it being NFP, there could be a lot of uncertainty with regard to where price is going to go. But I would just keep watching price, keep watching price, see if it stays above. It probably isn't going to go anywhere because realistically, if you look over here at the zone, the range is like in between. So, I mean, realistically, if you want to confirm whether price is going to stay bullish, see if it's above this area here, or if it stays bearish, it's going to break below the structure. But you can see over here that price is just going to probably sit within these two zones for the remainder of this live session. But we'll see. I mean, volatility right now is currently 21 ATR. It's not horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible. 21 is basically the average. But I think as the candles start to get smaller and smaller, it's going to get lesser and lesser as well. So we only have this big ATR because of these big candles right here. If the candles don't start to move, it's going to go back lower. You can see it's now at 20. So it went from 21 to 20, and then from 20, it's going to go to 19, and from 19, it's go to 18. And the volatility is just going to get smaller and smaller. The reason why I know that is because if you measure each candle here, the ATR is a measurement of, each candle. Each candle here is about like, 15 to 22 points. And if they don't continue to be bigger, the ATR is just going to get smaller and smaller. Let's see, Vince said he missed the V1 at 646. 646. Oh, this one right here. Yeah, it's unfortunately missed it. Overall bias is bullish. So you could have taken that trade there. I think that's probably what you should stick to, Vince, because you're like from, just thinking back to like when you started to like not do so well. When you were doing well, you were doing the V1s. You're doing a lot of V1s, and you would just take like a couple trades a day and then be done with it, right? I think you got kind of discouraged when you started losing some V1s, but a lot of those V1s were lost because of mistakes that you were making, right? You weren't confirming the overall bias. So for today, the overall bias is bullish. That V1 there would have been valid, and you would have made a nice profit on that. So I think what you should do, Vince, is you should stick to what you're good at, which I think is V1s. When you started taking liquidity pushes, that's when you start to screw up a lot, right? I don't think liquidity pushes are for you personally. I know sometimes they do hit, sometimes they don't, but it's not a strategy for everybody. Like myself, I don't even take V1s myself because I already know this kind of screws with my mindset and my trade psychology. So even though they do hit sometimes, I personally don't like to take them because I'm not really sure when and when not to take them. However, I think V1s are good for you personally. Just knowing your trading style, it seems like that's something that you're good at identifying. And as long as you have the overall bias, I think your V1s here will play out pretty nicely. All right, let's see. Yeah, Rashida said she's been playing with these fair value gaps, adding as a confluence, and it's been working out good. Nice. No, definitely, Rashida. What I always tell people is do what works for you, right? Like Rashida here is using fair value gaps. I don't use that at all, but I've seen people use them. And if they work well with you, then, go ahead and use them. For me personally, they probably wouldn't work well because what I'm doing here already works. And, like the saying goes, don't fix something that's not broken. But if you guys need a little additional confluence, then it's always a plus. There's no need to fight it. It's there for your benefit. So, all right, price is still in this range right here, guys. There's no entries for us to take here at the moment. We might have some momentum pullback scalp setting up here because we currently have a buy signal. Price is climbing up. So if this is the case right here, we might be able to look for a momentum pullback scalp. Looking over here at the high-low scalp V2, there's no entries available. As you guys can see, the closest high is going to be way up here. So we're nowhere near that. So there's not going to be any entries for any high-low scalp V2s. Other than that, price is still ranging within this area. There's not really much to look at here. Obviously price is climbing up, but it is still technically in a range right now. There's no other liquidity that's close by to the top side. So there's not going to be any liquidity confluence. But other than that, I think this is probably going to be the only opportunity for us to look at here. It's going to be the momentum pullback scalp. So if you get a red candle here, you're going to look for entry at the next level, which would be right here. My MT4 has been acting kind of weird lately, guys. I think I need to reset it. I'm not sure if anybody else is having issues, but like my TP stop loss numbers keep changing, even though I'm not changing them at all. I know what happens when I'm changing them, but right now it's kind of, if I click on the chart, sometimes it'll go from like 100 to like 300. And we'll see. I haven't taken a trade yet, so I'll try to take a trade and I'll see if it works, if my MT4 is working right now. But if it's not working, just a heads up, because I might miss like the first trade or something once I figure it out what's going on here. Thanks, Andreas. We also have news right here at 7 o'clock. I swear I marked up news here. Did I not mark up news? That's so weird. I swear I marked up news here and it's not there anymore. But anyways, there is news at 7 and 7:30. So thanks, Andreas, for the reminder. All right, actually, it looks like I'm not going to take any trades right now just yet because we do have news coming up right here at 7 o'clock. I think it's low impact, but it should still be avoided. Yeah, we have news right here at 7 o'clock, total vehicle sales. I'm expecting this number to be less because the car market is hurting right now. Factory orders and factory orders month over month. So we got some low impact, some medium impact news right here. It's forecasted to be negative for vehicle sales. It's forecasted to be negative for factory orders, and then it's forecasted to be positive for factory orders month over month. So we'll see. I mean, I'll mark up the entry here, but I'm not going to take it. News is happening too quickly. So if you guys want to take the entry here, well, this candle would have to close red. Once it closes red, I'll mark up the entry. But we do have news right here at 7 o'clock, so I don't recommend anybody take any trades right now. If you guys want to take it, that's really up to you. If you guys take a win or a loss, you got to take it. You got to take responsibility for either way it goes, because right now it's just too risky to trade during news, especially pre-news, because you might get some pre-news manipulation. So, all right, we have a red candle right here. The entry would technically happen right here at the 33,600 mark. This is, again, if you guys want to take it. I'm not recommending you guys take it. I'm just marking it up for you guys for the people who want to take it, but you got to take responsibility for the trade, whether it wins or it loses. You better not be blaming me for that, because I'm telling you guys here that it's a risky trade. You know, whether it wins or it loses, it's going to play out. So we got news right here at 7 o'clock. That's why I wouldn't want to take the trade. I typically don't trade 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after, because there might be a pre-news manipulation right here. I mean, the manipulation could happen in your favor, but in a case like this, you're basically taking a gamble, right? And when I trade, I don't want to gamble. I want to trade with skill, and I want to trade with certainty. So trade still hasn't filled. It's still running right now. If we get a green candle right now, it's going to reset. All right, so since it didn't fill right here and it's green, it resets. There's no entry there. If you get another red candle, it's going to move up higher to this point right here. And then we'll see what happens from that point. Yeah, exactly. And like what Sisu said over here, he said if you missed it, there will be better setups for the momentum pullback scalp throughout the day. Yeah, and that's exactly what I try to remind you guys as much as possible, right? I'm okay with missing this trade here because I know there's going to be another entry that's going to come up. It's not like the strategy comes up like once a day. The strategy comes up multiple times a day. So I'm never really feeling the FOMO to like force something, especially during a time like this, even though it might hit because, you know, the news volatility might push price to your TP, but I don't want to be in that position where price might push in the opposite direction versus the direction I want, and then it stops me out. So again, right here, if this candle closes red, the entry is going to be right here at 33,610. If you guys want to take it, again, I'm not going to take it, but I will mark it up for you guys here for those of you who want to take the position. One thing that you want to keep in mind is that price is very overextended. So if you measure it from this point right here, like Vince mentioned, price is overextended about 1,150 pips, pretty far up. So hopefully nobody took the position here, like I mentioned. I just have it marked up. We'll follow it. But I'm not in this position here. And then we have news right here at 7 o'clock. Yeah, exactly. Andrew said raising price just to manipulate. I agree. Guys, so I got a message from the other Andrew here on Discord. He said there was another platform that's been available on FTMO. It's called DX Trade. I've never heard of DX Trade, so I don't have any opinion on it. But I don't know if anybody here has tried it. So, I mean, if anybody wants to check it out, feel free. But I just want to give you guys a heads up because you guys are probably going to ask me about DX Trade in the future. And I have no experience with DX Trade, never heard of them. So I can't say if they're good or not. But if anybody here wants to be the guinea pig and try it out, you know, feel free to try it out. Let us know how it works. And then if it works well, maybe we'll take a look at it. I don't have any reason to change platforms right now, guys, because my copier is on MT4, so I don't really have a reason to. It's called DX Trade, Sisu. DX, like the two letters, DX, and then trade. I don't know what it is. It's a platform, though. It's like MT4. All right, so here goes the momentum pullback scalp, guys. It looks like it's pushing up into profit. Yeah, Patricia said it's happening because MT4 is supposed to go bye-bye the next 2 years, supposedly. Yeah, there's a lot of like Well, MT4 is super dated. As you guys know, MT4 is super dated, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be discontinued. I heard they're not even doing updates for MT4 anymore, so I wouldn't be surprised, if that becomes the case. So I feel like MT5 would still stick around, but MT4 definitely it's very, very dated. I mean, whenever you use it, it looks like you're on a Windows 95 computer. So, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, C6 said that Hugo's can no longer work on MT4. Yeah, they don't even update the platform at all. So it might be a shift. Anyways, guys, you guys can see right here that there's a lot of manipulation happening on this entry. That's why I didn't want to take it. It's a very risky entry. Price is moving based off news. So the news over here was positive. It was actually opposite of what they were forecasting. Total vehicle sales is still pending, but the news was actually positive here. So technically, you're supposed to close this trade for a small loss if you were to take it. I'm just going to delete this here, and then we'll move forward with our analysis. All right. So it looks like price is just consolidating right here. It's consolidating based off the news. The news was positive, so I think this is going to correct back up. It just had a small manipulation to the downside, and then now it's correcting right back up. Yeah, that's typical. And there you go. Price pushed up. So if you held on to the position, it would have hit TP or almost hit TP. Yeah, full TP right there. So if anybody held on to the position, I know a lot of people like to hold on to it even though the sell signal comes up. It would have been a full TP right here. So whoever took the momentum pullback scalp and decided to hold on to it, you kind of just got manipulated right here based off the news, and then it shot right back up. So not a trade I would have recommended taking. I'd probably be stressed out right here waiting for this to swing back up, but it did swing back up like anticipated because of the news here. The news here was positive, all positive here, and price just pretty much flew. See, Kip said time for clinic. Good analysis today, Sean. You should have traded your own words. I know, right? One of these days, I'm going to do that. Kip said I traded your own words. Not sad about it either. Yeah, so I think what I might do next is maybe I'll just open another Trade08 account just to take these YOLO type trades. Possibly. All right, there's a high-low scalp V2 here that's setting up, guys. Looks like it's currently running right now. I wasn't able to get into it, guys, unfortunately. I wasn't paying attention. So there's a high-low scalp V2 right here. The volatility is actually really low. It's currently at 19. So I would probably go with a smaller TP. If you guys want to go for a smaller TP, or I mean, you could even do a 2020. I think 2020 might be better. It's up to preference, whatever you guys want to do. The ATR is just very low right now. So, I mean, if you want to go even lower than that, you can even go for 10 if you really want to be super careful. I mean, the full move is going to be 30, but just depending on like what you guys want to go for it. Yeah, it's too fast. I'm not going to enter this right here, guys. I don't want to FOMO into it at this point. But yeah, if you guys are looking to take it, the entry right there is going to be, I mean, it's still technically running right now. All right, I'm not gonna mess with it. It's yeah, Andreas said he's out of it. It's too near news. It's still kind of near news that right now as well, guys. The entry came up right after news, so that's why I didn't want to take it off this candle right here, because this candle was a news candle, right? So I didn't want to trade around the news like manipulation. News happened right here at 7 o'clock, but then it initially faked out right here, and then this was the actual news push. So that's why I didn't want to push this. I don't want to mess with the market movement here until prices like kind of stabilize away from news. So we'll mark it up right here. Obviously, I'll let it run. The volatility is very low, but I'm not in the position right now. I'm just kind of watching it. And we'll see where it goes from here. Looks like Vince caught it for a partial. Nice work, Vince. And it's just consolidating within this area. And today might be another day with no trades for me. I don't know. I don't like the way the market's moving right now. Let me see if there's any other zones right here. So here's another thing that you want to be careful for too. It established a new higher high, so this might be another ceiling. Uh, Nice Vince Scott for a partial. Yeah, if anybody caught profits on it, nice work. I'm just kind of being a little more careful right now for the obvious reasons here. There's just not really much to work with. So I'm not in this position, guys. Again, I'm just following it. I didn't even realize if the momentum counter scalp came up today. So we had the momentum counter scalp actually came up down here. So we had a sell signal here at 641, and then we had two green candles. The momentum counter scalp came up right over here. And it hit TP. So I'm just going to put this in our spreadsheet so that you guys have the information and data right there. The trade's still running, guys. If you guys are still following the trade here, it's still running. It's not looking great, but it's still running. So the entry right here came up at, let's see, entry came up at 648. Wait for a buy when here you go. So two of the strategies that we're testing, the breakout V2 hit full TP. The momentum counter scalp hit full TP as well. The liquidity hit full TP. There's a high-low scalp V2 that's currently running right now. It's still technically running. Not in this position, but we're following it. So I'm going to document this trade too, even though we're not taking the trade or I'm not in the position, I'm going to document it. It's going to go into our spreadsheet so that we can keep following how these strategies are working, right? We want to make sure that we continue to document this so that we can confirm whether we want to keep this as a staple strategy or not. The time of entry for this specific one right here was not a good time of entry because it happened right at news. Typically I just mentioned earlier, news happened right here at 7 o'clock, right? I typically don't like to take trades 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after. It's just too risky of a move. So I typically don't like taking trades when they come up like that. All right, so we gotta wait for the other opportunity here. There's nothing here. There's no momentum pullback scalps. There's nothing for us to take here. I would just have to wait for price to come back up and create a new entry for any of these strategies here. Yeah, so I'm kind of glad I didn't take this trade right here. You got into it, Maddie? I thought you didn't get in. I guess you got in for when it pulled back, huh? Yeah, because Maddie, I thought you said too fast and you didn't get in. But it looks like pretty much everybody here skipped it. Daniel skipped it. Yeah, it's all good, Maddie. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this up over here as a loss in the spreadsheet. I didn't take the trade, so it's not going to be an official trade, of course. As you guys can see, I mentioned earlier when it came up that it was too late. It happened too quickly. And then on top of that, it was right after, like it was in between news. So you guys got to remember that, right? I mentioned over here at 7 o'clock, 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after, you shouldn't be taking any trades between this time because this time right here is where a lot of manipulation happens, right? 5 minutes before news, 5 minutes after. This is actually news that, this is actually a rule that you created, Maddie. You mentioned that you don't take trades before or after 5 minutes. So I thought you were just going to skip out on it, but it's all good. we'll move on to the next trade. You guys got to keep in mind, like I've been talking to a lot of people here, and it's funny because the people that I talk to that are the most cautious are taking risky trades today. We talked about this earlier this week. We said a lot of people's accounts are going to get blown, right? Because people are going to make mistakes like this. You guys got to keep in mind, you can't get FOMO, you can't want to overtrade or revenge trade because you're going to get caught in these traps here. So just keep that in mind moving forward, guys. It's NFP week. You guys can't forget that. NFP week is one of the trickiest weeks to trade because you're going to get a lot of these fake outs. So I'm going to add this to the spreadsheet. Looks like pretty much every other strategy hit for today, aside from that high-low scalp V2. So let me go over here real quick. It's all good, Maddie. I know we all make mistakes. I mean, I make mistakes all the time. Luckily for me, the mistakes usually work in my favor. But yeah, it's all good. So 704 is where it came up. I'm going to add this to our spreadsheet. We haven't had very many losses for the high-low scalp V2. So as you guys can see over here, even though like if you were to take every single trade that came up, you'd probably still be doing pretty well because the win-loss ratio over here for this specific strategy is very high. Matt Harwick said, thanks, Sean, got my pips. See you tomorrow. Yeah, no, definitely, Ben Harwick. We'll see you then. Just keep that in mind, guys. So like a lot of the rules that we placed back, back then, they still apply today. Just because like we don't look at red flags. I mean, red flags still play a pretty big part in our trading analysis, right? So like, for example, all the sessions, they're still important. News price is still important. Opening price is still important. I try to avoid trades around those areas because that's usually where you get a lot of manipulation. So news happened right here. You guys can see the huge fake out. Price came up. Well, it came down initially, then it came up. This is the news price, this pink line right here. And you can see how the fake outs happen. This was 7 o'clock when the news came down. The news was actually positive, so it shot right back up. And then now it faked out and came right back down. So just, I would, as much as I try to warn you guys, be careful and just be as vigilant as possible when you guys are looking for these entries, because it's not, and on top of that, we're in a range right here. So as you guys can see, it's not a good area at all to begin with. Here's a clean chart. I told you guys from the very beginning that this is going to be the big range that we're in, right? From this lower point to this higher point. And we're still in this point right here. There's nothing new that's changed. Price is still ranging around this area here. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm going to try as hard as I can to prevent you guys from taking unnecessary losses, but I can only do so much. So what I'd recommend is you just sit on your hands if you can. And price here is now in an even tighter range. Sorry, guys, 1 second. All right. 7:14 right now. We still got a lot of time on the clock, guys. So don't worry about missing any trades just yet. I feel like the trades might happen a little later anyways, like closer to 7:30. It's just going to be a matter of time. Haven't taken any trades today yet. I'm just kind of sitting back. Sitting back and waiting for these opportunities to come. All right, so there's no momentum pullback scalps here. You can see price is still bullish with regard to trend. Buy signal hasn't come up yet. Once this buy signal comes up, we might set up for an entry, but there's nothing here yet. Looking over here for the momentum pullback scalp, closest level for entry would be right here. Again, where price is in a range, so it's not really the best area to be trading in. But price has been doing this for the past 2 weeks, guys. So like it shouldn't be a surprise to you, right? If you guys are still getting burnt in this range, you guys really need to listen to my analysis, because it's been doing this for 2 weeks and it keeps faking out. And if you keep getting burned at the same area, then you're just not listening, right? Because I've been trying to warn you guys, this is not a good area to trade in right here. You need to wait for price to break out of this area. So like even with the entry that came up here for the high-low scalp V2, price was at a ceiling, right? So let me see if I can turn this back on. Yeah, so price was at a ceiling. And it did exactly what happened earlier. So guys, remember the pattern that I showed you guys earlier this session? I mentioned if you guys see a higher high after a big push, you want to be careful because it's going to establish a ceiling, right? So at this point, it established a ceiling and it came all the way back down to news price. It did the same pattern here again. Price pushed up. You guys see this big bullish push? What happened right here? The higher high, right? This is where Maddie entered the high-low scalp V2. Again, right here, it hit ceiling and it came back down. And then as it came back down, you can see the lower low right here. It hit another ceiling and then it came right back up. And this is exactly where Vince missed his V1 again. Vince said he missed his V1 and that's exactly where the floor was meant. So, I mean, there's a lot of factors here that you guys got to look at. There's the range, these higher highs. And if you guys were listening to my analysis earlier, you'd see that the same pattern just keeps repeating itself. I think for today, the main thing that you guys should probably be focused on and looking at would be these higher highs and lower lows. Because these higher highs and lower lows are establishing where the resistance and support is sitting, right? Like you're able to see it before it even happens. So for example, over here, let me just replay to this candle. Like see how the price came down to this point, even if I didn't have the zone marked up there, you saw that there was a lower low and price pushed away from it. So what do you think would have happened there? This would be the support, the floor, and Vince could have taken his V1 variation right there, right? Because it's a double body rejection. I'm pretty sure there's a pending momentum there. Yeah, pending momentum. And you could have taken that right there for a V1 variation. So yeah, I think for today, this might be probably the key thing to look at. Every day, the market's a little different, right? Sometimes market's ranging, sometimes market's bouncing off these higher highs, lower lows, establishing support resistance. There's just a couple different factors here to just keep track of. So price is now climbing back up. You can see here that price is finally breaking out of the structure and it's starting to climb up higher. This is now where we're starting to get this directional push. So at this point right here, you might have opportunity for a high-low scalp V2. We have news coming up at 7:30, but it's still a bit of a distance away. It's low impact news, but it's still news nonetheless. All right, so we have a high-low scalp V2 setting up right here. We also have a possible momentum pullback scalp setting up right here as well. Right here. All right, so we have a momentum pullback scalp setting up right here and a high-low scalp V2. I'm going to try to get into this again, guys. I haven't entered any trades on my FTMO. It's been acting kind of funky lately. I don't know if my FTMO, if my MT4 needs to be reset. It might need to be reset, but we'll see. That's the thing that I don't like about MT4 being it's not a native program on the Mac. So sometimes if it's left on for too long, it gets corrupted and you have to like reinstall it. So, all right, we have the possible opportunity here for a momentum pullback scalp. I'm going to try to enter into one of these trades here. Probably this one. All right, so we have this right here setting up. Looks like this might be the entry right here if anybody's looking to take it. All right, yeah, my MT4 is not working right now, guys. I tried to hit buy and it didn't work. William's asking, when you say reset, do you mean just uninstall and reinstall? No, I mean reset. If I was to say, yeah, so the difference between what I just said right now, like reset, is just turn it up, close it, and reopen it. because it's just a platform, right? So I could close it and I could reopen it and then it'll be reset. But if that doesn't work, then I'll go to the next step, the next measure, which would be uninstalling and reinstalling. But yeah, to reset, I would just turn it. That's how you reset a program, right? It isn't corrupted completely. It's just sometimes if you leave your computer running for too long, like for example, I haven't turned off my computer in like maybe 3 or 6 months. My computer's just always on. So like with these platforms, sometimes they get corrupted. Like it usually gets corrupted around the turnover. So like when it happens like around 2 o'clock and you'll hear like your MT4 disconnect and reconnect, and there you go, full TP right here on the momentum pullback scalp. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to enter it, but I did try to enter it. So I'm going to count this as an official trade, because if I was able to get into this position, I would have taken it, right? So full TP right there on the momentum pullback scalp, guys. And then we'll go from here and we'll see what happens next. All right, so fortunately, womp, womp, womp. I wasn't able to get in this trade, unfortunately. This would have been my win for the day. I'm gonna have to reset my MT4. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it during this live session, so it's all good. There goes my trade for the day, or would have been my trade for the day. Or the momentum pullback scalp. See, I think there's something wrong, because you can see over here that I gotta just reset my entire computer. My spreadsheet over here was looking perfectly fine earlier. Now it's all yellow. I think it's just time for my computer to be reset, because I haven't turned off my computer in over like 6 months since like, I don't know, the last time I went on vacation. I gotta get better at that, at resetting my computer every at least at the end of the week. Was for a buy, was for a win, 100 pips, momentum pullback scalp. Right there. Let's see, Johnny said it didn't take him out for the trade for 100 pips, so he had to pull out as a drew back for a partial. Yeah, it's all good, Johnny. It happens. Sometimes I think the spread right now is kind of wide. It was like at 190. So you might get caught in the spread depending on where your entry happened. But you did a smart move. I would have just pulled out. There's no need to get overly confident. Just let the trade run. You know, whenever it hits TP on TradingView, you got to pull out. MT4 is going to be slightly different because pricing is a bit different. But yeah, whenever it hits TP on TradingView, you just got to pull out. Even if you got to pull out for a partial, or if you got to pull out for a small loss, you know, that's really going to be the game changer for you guys there, if you guys are able to do that and do that consistently. So, all right, let's see. Maria said that a high-low momentum scalp also hit. So this one down here as well, guys. I don't know if anybody was able to see that, but there was a high-low momentum scalp that actually hit down below over here. High-low momentum scalp. There's a lower low, buy signal right here, broken close, and it hit TP right there. There's a high-low scalp B2 that's actually running right now too, guys. I wasn't able to see this because it came up at the same time as this one. So I wasn't able to get into this position here. It's still technically running. Let's see, price pulled back below. Entry happened right there. Yeah, it's still technically running. I'm not in this position here. But you can see that this strategy doesn't work very well during a ranging market. You know, price is still in this range right here. Let's see where the entry happened. So entry happened on this red candle that came down, the red and green candle. Basically happened within this range right here. So this is where the entry point happened for this specific entry here. And you guys can see that the patterns just keep repeating themselves, right? So if you look over here, just look at what happened right over here, right? And you look over here, it's the same exact pattern. Price pulled up into the zone, and then it came right back down. So, I mean, technically, this is still in range. range, fake out. Again, price came up, range, fake out. So you just got to look really closely. I know this is probably not making sense to a lot of people because you guys aren't able to really see what I'm seeing, but these patterns just keep repeating themselves. So earlier this morning, I was telling you guys to look out for the higher highs and lower lows, right? The same thing again happened right here. It's the same thing that happened with Maddie's entry where he kind of got burnt on the high-low scalp V2 here. Same thing, you look for a higher high, it establishes a ceiling, fakes out. Same thing with right here, the trade that Maddie took earlier for the high-low scalp V2, higher high established right here, then it faked out. Again, right here, same thing, right? Higher high, and then price faked out. So I think the main gist for today is to be careful for these higher highs. The thing is, price is in a range, but also you want to be careful for these higher highs because these higher highs continue to establish ceiling points. And as those ceiling points get established, you get caught in these fake outs right here, right? And then price pulls back into the lower level. So just, and then Randy also mentioned that the ATR is too low. So that's another thing too that I would probably avoid. Let me check the ATR again real quick. Yeah, the ATR is currently 15 right now, guys. It's super, super low. So it makes it nearly impossible to even go for 300 pips. So right now, I wouldn't even go for 300 pips. If you guys are going for this trade here, you'd probably have to base it closer to where volatility is moving, which is very unusual. It's very unusual for the volatility to be so low today because it is NFP. So you're expecting volatility to be actually pretty high. And then we're also in the fall season. The volatility right now is way too low compared to what I'm used to. So, and then we have news right here in about 4 minutes. Thanks, Andreas. Yeah, thanks, Andreas, for the heads up with the news. I keep forgetting there's news coming up. But Andreas has been on point with warning us about news events. So, all right, guys, I'm not in any of these positions right here. The only position I took was a momentum pullback scalp. I'm going to look for another possible entry here for another momentum pullback scalp. The high-low scalp V2 is still technically running right now, but I would be very careful about the entry. If you guys want to pull out of this for maybe 100 pips, I think 100 pips, well, 100 pips already got hit earlier. But if you guys weren't able to pull out at that point, you might want to maybe move your stop loss and profit or even pull out for a partial because the volatility is too low right now. I know the volatility is not a requirement for this specific strategy, but it should be because if you're going for 300 pips, and there goes a 100 pip move right there. If you're going for 300 pips and the ATR is currently 15, you're going to be holding on to this position for quite some time, right? You're going to be holding on to it for like, 10, 20 minutes for it to actually hit. So 10 pips hit right there, 20 pips hit right there, full TP right there. So if anybody caught the entire move, I don't know, this market's just not, I don't like how the market's moving today. We've been getting a lot of these like random spikes of candles. I don't even know why price spiked like that. Let me check. News didn't happen yet, but it's like pre-news. So the news is happening right here at 7:30. But there's not really much. I mean, I don't know why price has been doing this a lot today. So if you've noticed, pretty much since market open right here, there's been a bunch of spikes in candles. Like price pushed up right here, big spike right there. Price pushed up, big spike right there. Price pushed up, pushed down right here, big spike right there. There's been about like maybe 4 or 5 candle spikes throughout the entire session. So I'll go and add this to our spreadsheet for today. So we had 1 loss and 1 win for the high-low scalp V2. I didn't take either of the trades, so they're not going to count as an official trade. So I'm not putting that here. The only trade that I took today was the momentum pullback scalp. I didn't say I was going to take that trade because I said it was a little risky, but we are going to put it in our spreadsheet here so that we understand, okay, this trade came up and, we know the stats for this specific day. So this trade came up at about 7:22. It was for a buy. It was a win, 300 pips. I'll put notes over here. Price was at resistance. Entry came in 5 minutes of high impact news event. So looking at this right here, I'm also going to put a note for the win. Price spiked to TP, risky area due to range and higher high establishing distance. All right, so I take notes even when the trade wins, so that we know we have an idea in the future. So I pretty much just updated that right there. If you took both of the entries for the high-low scalp V2, one of them hit, one of them didn't. My MT4 is kind of screwed right now, so I can't really take any trades, unfortunately. But I will continue to mark up. And if I do think that they are good trades, I'll let you guys know so that you guys can take them as well. But I didn't take this trade here, so it's not counting as an official trade. I didn't say I was going to take it, so I'm not going to add that there either. Here's Andreas for the day. Andreas is currently at 440, all wins. Nice work right there, Andreas. So solid profits right there. I'm going to add this over here as well. So here are Andreas' profits. So here's Maddie's over here. Maddie took the high-low scalp V2, made a small loss. It's all good, it happens. And then he made it right back over here. He recouped some of those losses. He's only down 300 for the day. So not bad, Maddie. It's all good. Nice recovery right there. And here we go with Vince, man. Vince finally got his TP for the day. Nice work, Vince. Took that trade at 705. I think he took it as a he entered at 705. I'm not sure what he took, but he took something and it hit. So nice work, Vince, with that TP right there. So Vince is currently at 255 for the day. We have Kip. This is Kip's MT4 account. Total profit of 6,632. All wins here. And then here's Kip's Apex accounts. Total profit of 2,700 per account. Nice work, Kip. Then we got Kenny over here. Total profit of 840 for the day. All wins. And we have David over here with a total profit of 3,420 for the day. All wins as well. Nice work, David. All right, guys, solid profit so far for all you guys here. We have Gian over here as well. Total profit of 420 for the day. Nice work, Gian. Great work there. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that my MT4 wasn't working. That would have been a nice entry to take earlier with the momentum pullback scalp, but it's all good. Today just wasn't the day for me to trade, I guess. I was kind of feeling iffy this morning anyways, but since my MT4 isn't executing my trades, I don't want to risk it because now I don't want to try to enter a trade and double click into a position. I'm sure a lot of you guys have done that before, where your MT4 is lagging and you try to double click into a position, like you click it, it doesn't work, and then you click it again, and then a few seconds later, you're in two positions, right? I don't want that to happen. So I'm not even going to bother trying to trade on my MT4 right now. I think after this live session, I'm just going to turn off my computer and reset it. It's been on for a long time since, I think my computer's been on since June or before June, actually. Since March. Yeah, remember to reset your computers, guys. If you guys saw my desktop, you'd see it's a super mess too. I got documents all over my computer because I just do work on this computer and I just leave it on all day. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So Vince took the high-low scalp V2 for a partial TP. Got it. That makes sense. All right, so there's no entry here, or there might be an entry for a momentum pullback scalp right here, guys. Let me measure this, see if it's overextended. No, it's fine. So there may be opportunity here for an entry for a momentum pullback scalp. The problem here that you guys want to be careful for is the ATR. The ATR is kind of low. It's currently at 16, so it's still good. But if it goes below, never mind, there's no entry there. Looks like the candles are moving a bit blocky now. So this candle here looked like it was going to close red, and then all of a sudden just shot up at the last second. So there's no entry here, but you can see how these candles are currently moving. This is not a good sign. When you see a lot of this consolidation here, you want to be careful because once it consolidates, it's just going to consolidate for a while. You're going to be trapped in that position, and eventually price is going to break out right to the top or to the bottom. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said, looks like it's dying. Price is starting to die out right here. Volatility is dying out completely. ATR is now dropping down to 15. So just be careful. If you guys are looking to take the trade here, I mean, the minimum ATR is 15 for the momentum pullback scalp. But if it goes any lower than that, then there's no entries for you to take here. See, Andreas confirmed that retail sentiment is currently at 50 right now. Yeah, it's pretty much flat. So there's no bias with regards to retail sentiment. I'm pretty sure fundamentals are still bullish because price is so high up, hasn't came down yet. Yeah, so fundamentals are bullish. However, retail sentiment is like straight neutral. Looking over here at the technicals are pretty much still bullish because price has been climbing. There is no high-low momentum scalps. This higher high right here did not establish an entry. So nothing now. Guys. So we'll see if there's anything else that will come up here. It's not looking like we're going to get much. The volatility is pretty much dead. You guys can see from each candle right here, it starts to get smaller and smaller as price continues to move along. ETR is currently at 15, so there's not going to be any entries here for any momentum pullback scalps. I can't trust that the volatility will pick up here because it's actually really, really slow. So I'm not planning on taking this here. I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm going to give you guys a heads up that this is a risky entry because the volatility is extremely low at the moment. So there's going to be a possible entry here. If this closes red, the entry will probably happen right here at 33,690. But I'm not going to take this trade. So I'm giving you guys a heads up here that for one, price is overextended, like Maddie said. And then for two, the volatility is just way too low. It's picking up a little bit, but I don't know if this is going to hold. So let's see, technically the entry could have happened right here, or it could happen at the lower level. Yeah, so I mean, it still hit TP, but again, it was risky because of the volatility. And then also on top of this here, you couldn't really tell where this red candle closed. I don't like when the red candle closes on the line because when it closes exactly on the line, it can be either or, right? Your entry can happen down here or it can happen right at that line. There's no one or the other. It's kind of uncertain when it comes down to it. All right, so if you guys caught that trade, nice work. I'm not going to count this as an official trade because I told you guys I wasn't going to take it. If I ever tell you guys I'm going to take it and I do take it, then I'll count it. But this right here, even though it did hit, I told you guys I was not going to take it. So it's not going to count as an official trade. So I just want to be transparent with you guys, right? I don't need to like squeeze in trades here and there because we make enough wins on our own, like actual wins, that even though we have a win here, I'm not going to put this on our spreadsheet. So for our spreadsheet right now for November, I've only taken 2 trades this week. I've taken 1 trade on Wednesday, yesterday, which was a momentum pullback scalp. I was going to take 1 trade here, but my MC4 wasn't working, so I don't have any actual profits for that. But you guys did see that we were waiting for that entry there to play through. So this right here, these are the only 2 entries for the month so far and for the week. So that's it for the momentum pullback scalp, guys. We need to wait for another retracement. So we'll look for a sell signal to come up. Once the sell signal comes up, we're going to look for the continuation with a green momentum signal. Once we get that, we'll look for price to push up, retrace, and continue up higher. And that's where we'll take the entry. At the moment, there's just nothing for us to take here right now. There is nothing here for a high-low scalp V2, but it might be setting up. Another thing that you guys want to look at again is the higher high, right? I've been warning you guys about this pretty much all day. This might establish a ceiling and price might climb down from where it's currently at here. So just something to look out for, guys. This looks like it might be a ceiling. Again, like I mentioned, I'll mark that down right there. This is our clean chart. And you can see the ceiling over here start to cave in. So it hasn't established yet, but basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, once a couple more candles pass through, I think this will establish it as a ceiling. If it comes up and touches it within now or the next candle, it's probably going to establish a new higher high. So it didn't break it right there. I think this might be the higher high. So the thing that you want to be careful for is like if there's still candles pushing through, this here can still disappear. Right? It can still disappear and create a new higher high like it did right there, right? Exactly what I just said. So the ceiling wasn't established there yet. And now we have a new ceiling. So if you guys are wondering, like this isn't magic here. I created this indicator, so I know how the indicator works. It's not like I was like, okay, this higher high is going to disappear. I knew it was going to disappear because it hasn't established yet. So again, right here, there's another higher high, and then we're going to work from that there. So one thing that I'm going to be working on next, guys, I'm going to make my own rendition of the ATR. The ATR right now kind of sucks for the most part. You know, it's not, I mean, the ATR doesn't suck. It's okay, but I think I can make it better. So as I mentioned earlier, guys, I'm currently getting mentored by a very well-known trading view. Well, it's called Pine Script. So the script that we use here for trading view is called Pine Script. He's really good at coding Pine Script. So I'm paying this guy to mentor me. You know, even me, I get mentored. I'm getting mentored by this guy who uses Pine Script, and he's basically going to show me how to do the stuff that I need to do. So, you know, these indicators might get updated at some point. I'm still learning how to code and stuff, but I'm always looking for ways to improve and improvise on what we already have. So once we get that ready, I'll let you guys know. I'm currently working on that right now, the ATR, because I think if we have a better ATR indicator, it'll be easier to identify what our TP stop loss should be. Because the ATR does help a lot. It's too basic. I feel like there's something that needs to be added to it. So I'll hopefully by the next month, I'll be done with that indicator. And then from there, I can make some additions to our indicator list. I mean, we have so many indicators already. If you guys can see from the invite only scripts, we have so many indicators here already. But whenever I find something that's useful to us, I always create a new one to improve our trading. Anyways, there's a new higher high right here that I mentioned, guys. It hasn't established the ceiling yet, but once it establishes that this is the actual higher high, then it'll probably hold. See, Johnny over here said, following my trading plan of 1 trade a day, taking my profit, and he is out for the day. Yeah, definitely, Johnny. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Great work. And, you know, if you can stick to that trading plan, I think you'll be perfectly fine. You just got to stick to the trading plan, avoid the mistakes, avoid any unnecessary losses, and your profits will just add up over time. I think that should be everybody's goal. I think everybody's goal for the day, if you guys are not consistent, I would recommend just focusing on 1 trade a day, whether it's a win or a loss, 1 trade a day. And that's about it. If you take a loss, then no more trades for the day, right? Because if you can do that and you can just focus on like 1 quality entry a day, like how I do, if you guys look at my spreadsheet over here, I typically only take like 1 trade a day, right? 1 or 2 trades a day. If you can do what I'm doing here and you're just focusing on 1 good trade every single day, your profits are going to add up over time, right? Because you're not going to lose any trades. If you just have 1 trade, it's impossible. Because if you win 1, you're not going to lose 1 that day. So you win 1, win 1, win 1, win 1, etc. And you're pretty much good. Like right here on the 23rd, this is my first loss for October. I only took 1 trade that day, right? Took 1 trade, took my loss, took my L, moved on. Next day, had 3 back-to-back wins on the 24th and the 27th. So I think the key thing that a lot of people need to do is, for one, you need to journal your trades so that you can focus on like what you're messing up on and what you need to do better. And number 2 is to take less trades, because if you limit yourself to 1 trade a day, you're going to find a lot of consistency. So if you guys are new here, just go to the Discord, make sure you click on Kodi Kai trades up top, click on show all channels, go down to trading journal right here, and then go to 2023 official live trades. My spreadsheet's right here. Once you pull this up, just copy the spreadsheet. Just go to file copy, or, you know, whatever, make a copy of it, and then just input your own trades into here. And then it'll make all the difference. Yeah, Maria said price is ranging right now. Better stop trading. See you tomorrow. Yeah, definitely, Maria. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Lastly, we have Johnny over here with some profits. Total profit of 285 for the day. Nice work, Johnny. Solid profits right there. And we have Vince over here, total profit of 390 for the day. All wins as well. Nice work, Vince and Johnny, with those profits. If you guys have more profits to share, feel free to send them in. Otherwise, I think we're gonna wrap this up soon, guys. I don't see anything happening here. The higher high just keeps getting pushed higher and higher. It's not established yet. So price is slowly climbing. However, the ATR is very low. It's currently at 14. So you wouldn't even be able to take any trades here if you wanted to. So guys, if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Looks like majority of you guys are starting to log off already anyways. I don't really see anything here for us to take. As you guys can see, there's just nothing for us to take here. So other than that, we have Valentine's profits right here. Total profit of 1,056 for the day. All wins. Nice work right here, Valentine. Have this over here. Nice work, Valentine. And I think that might be it. So Katie over here was asking about, so Katie had an issue with YM. So here's just a clarification for you guys. So if you guys are using TradingView and you want to pull a YM, just pull a YM1 exclamation mark. So the symbol for YM, you can just type in YM. It'll be the first one, this one right here. This is what you use on TradingView. On Tradeovate, if you guys are trading on Tradeovate, Tradeovate uses you have to use a specific symbol. So if you're trading Tradeovate right now, the cycle is currently YMZ3. That's for like December, I think from September till December. It's like the fourth quarter. That's what you would use. So let me see the question over here. Kitty's also asking, what about real-time data? I already have the annual subscription using Tradeovate. Whatever. It is CM, what's it called? CM group futures. Yeah, all right, Katie. So I'm not sure if you're here on the live. But yeah, basically, so just a reminder, guys, that real-time data is not part of the annual subscription for TradingView. So TradingView is completely different from the data. If you want to get real-time data for YM, you would have to pay for the data unless you're using something like TopStep or Tradeovate, because typically you're going to be paying for that data through them. So if you're paying for the data through Tradeovate or whatever platform you guys are using, it's already paid for. You don't have to pay for it twice. But you have the option. You either pay for it through TradingView or you pay for it through Tradeovate, one or the other. On Tradeovate. Lock it. Yeah, I think so. If you guys are looking to pay for the data for YM, guys, I think it's cheaper through TradingView. It's like $5 a month to have real-time data for YM. On Tradeovate, they charge you like a professional fee, so it's a lot more. I think it's like $50 a month, or I don't know. Don't quote me on it. It depends on like if you classify yourself as a professional trader or not. I would recommend to never classify yourself as a professional trader, guys. It doesn't matter how much money you make. I wouldn't recommend that you ever, unless you're on. So here's the thing: if you guys are on Top Step, that's where it gets kind of messy because when you're. That's why I didn't like trading with Top Step as well, because when you trade with Top Step, you become like an actual prop firm trader, like in the US. So they classify you as a professional trader. Once you guys are classified as a professional trader, you guys get hit with a lot more fees. So I would try to stay non-professional for as long as possible. Even myself, I don't like to consider myself a professional trader, even though I do trade, and this is my main, source of income from trading. Because you just don't want to be classified as a professional trader. Then you get a lot of you get more oversight, right? Because then once you're a professional trader, you technically you get tempted to like trade people's money, and you can't trade people's money unless you guys are licensed to trade. Like if you don't have a Series 7, you can't trade people's money for profit. You can trade for fun, but you can't trade for profit. And that's why I'm trying to get my Series 7 right now, so I can start my own hedge fund and I'll just trade my own money. Yeah, it's the financial space is kind of hectic. So yeah, if you guys don't have to, I would never recommend that you guys go into the professional space unless like it's like absolutely necessary. Because you're gonna have to start paying a lot more fees for things like broker data and stuff like that. Okay, perfect. Yes, Katie said that was a question. Awesome. No problem. All right, perfect. Yeah, so Katie, I just answered your question right there. All right, guys. So looking at current price, there's just nothing going on right here, right now. So I'm not really expecting anything to happen. The volatility is completely dead. It's currently at 13. It's lower than it is during the summer. Let me see if there's any other news today. I don't know why the market's so flat right now. It should be this flat. There's actually no other news today, which is really weird for it to be this flat. I guess people are just they're probably everyone's probably defeated right now from getting messed with in this market today. So I think a lot of people are just not trading. Also, looking over here at retail sentiment, it's pretty much flat. So I think if you guys don't have to trade, which is pretty much everybody, I don't think anybody has to trade. I would just sit out. This is not a good week to trade as NFP. And as you guys can see over here, the market is not doing anything. It's just going back and forth within this area. So, all right, guys, other than that, I think you guys should just wrap it up for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'm done for the day. Unfortunately, I couldn't take any trades because there was issues with my MT4. However, we did take one official trade today, which was the momentum pullback scalp, which hit full TP. So, all right, guys, other than that, reach out if you guys have questions. And if not, I will see you guys back here tomorrow as we wrap up this hectic NFP trading week. Hopefully it gets better tomorrow. I'm going to expect some crazy movements pre-market because it is NFP, and we'll hope that market stays volatile throughout the session. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys back.